The Indian Space Research Organization all set to make us all proud again. This time, in another ambitious mission, ISRO is set to launch the 2 spacecraft mission to conduct formation flying in space and study the layers around the sun. The Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle XL, which is the PSLV-XL, will launch the European Space Agency's Proba 3 mission from Sriharikota. This will be on the 4th of December in the next 24 hours at about 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So this, remember, is going to be very important, I reiterate. It's the PSLV vehicle, XL, which will launch the European Space Agency's Proba 3 mission from Sriharikota. And this, in many ways, remember, is significant because it is how ISRO's, whether it's ISRO's missions that by itself are being launched into space or helping and collaborating with other nations. Pramod Madhav is joining me for the latest on that. Pramod, this is a good news that in the past 2 to 3 years, you've been quite busy reporting and documenting ISRO's missions. What is this latest? And I find it interesting. It's a collaboration with Europe.
Pooja, it's actually delighted to actually see ISRO very easily lift off from the quest space, especially the FLP for the PSLV or the SLP for the GSLV. And this time it's a very important aspect because ISRO is actually going to launch a kind of a 2 satellite system for the European Space Agency, and the mass is going to be nearly 550 kilograms, and that's why we are going with the PSLV-XL, which has 6 boosters, and this particular space, space satellite is also very important because after ISRO launches it, it's going to be kind of a stack formation, and these 2 satellites also are very important aspect because we are going to, in European Space Agency, of course also in collaboration with ISRO, is going to actually learn about the sun's corona, which is the outer layer. And the interesting factor is that every time when there is a solar eclipse, the actual ray dissipation from the sun's corona, which is done by the moon's shadow, is completely different. We call the diamond ring formation and such, but we only get to learn a maximum of 2 to 3 minutes of it, and that's the reason. Now, this particular satellite is being launched where there are 2 satellites. One is called the chronograph spacecraft and the one is called the occulter spacecraft, which actually will fly at a distance of 150 meters from each other. And what happens is that at this point, the occulter will make a shadow, an artificial shadow, which would allow the actual chronograph spacecraft with its equipment to actually learn about the actual when the eclipse occurs, what exactly happens, and what are the patterns that occurs from Earth, and we get actually a time period of nearly 6 hours through this artificially made kind of eclipse. So that's why it's very important, and ISRO is playing a very important part in it, Pooja.
I have to say, Pramod, it's not just about young, aspiring enthusiasts of space who would be watching every achievement and effort of ISRO, but as an Indian myself, extremely proud of the work that our scientists are putting in, and we all know that it's quite on a budget compared to the Western nations to be able to even match up and aim to become the space power. Thank you so much, Pramod Madhav, for the latest on this.